Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. Thank you for coming this beautiful day that we could be outside, but we're here. So I decided to search about happiness because I think when we search for the first person to have the reward is us, you know. So there is no way for me to go after happiness and not be a little bit happier than before I start to search. Okay, so the definition first, what is happiness? Do you have any idea what happiness is? Can you define it? We know what it is for each one of us, but to say it's not so easy. Because it's a very loose, elusive concept, and it's very subjective. What I feel is happiness for me may not be that much for other people. It's very subjective. And science has very difficulties to deal with something that's subjective. We have difficulties for that. We need something more concrete. Why we need something more concrete? Because when someone wants to repeat our work, it has to reproduce our data. But if the parameters are so loose and they're so subjective, how are you going to define this for someone in China to reproduce or try to reproduce my data? So in 1990s was the decade of brain in this country, and this country had a lot of money in research. And that was a big thing because they put a lot of money and many machines that were still working in the lab, like the MRI, etc. That was put forward in clinics. So we could, instead just animals or whatever, put human beings there. And we could make some queries to human beings, what they're feeling, and scan the brain. So 1990s was very important decade, not only for basic science. We learn a lot about brain, about neurotransmitters, what makes us happy, unhappy, angry, etc. But the image, correspondent image of that, what I was talking about. So that started to be more concrete because I have an image. So we live more or less like, well, is a state or a sensation of happiness, a sensation of what? Well-being. What else? Joy. Sometimes when I feel joy, I say I'm happy. What else? Peace, maybe, yes. Can be a state of plenitude. You cannot say, but I feel that I am in the state of plenitude. But anyways, it's still there. We're going to see the research. But it's easier for me to say what makes me happy, what makes me unhappy. That is easier to say. What makes you happy? Each one of you. Can you say one? Friends. So, family. So, relationship that you want to count on. What else? I'm putting already the if. Yes. What else? Job. Successful job. Health. What else? Work, job, relationship in the work. You? Someone listening to you, well, that you asking a little bit more because it needs, the other person. But anyway, money, yes. But what makes you unhappy?
Feeling happy can also be when you help somebody.
Okay, so charity, you say, when I do charity, I feel happy. Okay, that's a good thing. What else? What makes you unhappy? When people don't listen. What else? What else?
When somebody is not happy, it affects me.
When someone in your family, in your workplace, people that you dear about is unhappy, so that affects you. So in all these things that you said, family, money, friends, work, there is this cons. There is the pro that you said, because it's a peaceful, secure, place to go, family, relationship. But there is this negativity, the cons about each of those, if something doesn't work the way you want, right? So I put this, so you see, we more or less agreed that family, extended family, close relationship is important for my happiness. Society, the sensation of belonging, acceptance, affinity that I have with people is also a source of happiness. Health, beauty. Nobody said about beauty. It's a huge industry. That is very important for my happiness. Money, fame, power. Right? Everybody is going up. But there is accomplishments and learn. Nobody said that. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. So, in all this one, except probably for accomplishment in learning, you have the pros and cons. So family, who doesn't have problem with the family? Right. Relationship, betrayal. Someone, you resentful about one of the one. They were not kind. They betray me. And health, it goes away. Beauty goes away. People that I think it should say I'm beautiful, not saying I'm there, put all the new makeup, a new color, and they don't pay attention. So there is this cons, because we put a lot of expectation on these things. And that's what fails on us. Depends on us what we put as expectation. And the other one cannot fulfill. The society cannot fulfill. So then we think it's negative. Well, so of course, Spiritists tackle about this issue. Everywhere, all the old philosophers, or before Jesus, after Jesus, and now modern age, they are asking about happiness. And the gospel, according to Spirit, says, well, happiness is not from this world. Well, isn't this negative? Oh my God. So they say, Cardinal Morlow say, mankind in general, from all walks of society, so all range of society, is constantly complaining either that he's not happy or that happiness was not made for him or her. Not riches, power, or even the blossom of youth are essential conditions of happiness. You see so many young children so upset. By the way, they are the ones that are always having some complaints. We are constantly hearing of people of all ages, even those from the most privileged classes, so money, power, fame, bitterly complaining of the situation in which they find themselves. What? Yes, so it means it's not there for us in this world. And the Spirit's book also asks, that was in the gospel, this is the Spirit's book, is it possible for man to enjoy perfect happiness in this earth? They said no, of course not, because this world is for trial and expiation. We come in here as an imperfect beings to try to pass through a trial, or some comes for expiation. But not only me, It's all the family members, all the people in my workplace, all my possible relationship. They are also in that phase. So how can I expect to have a complete happiness if I'm dealing with people that are still struggling with this? That's not possible. So only relative happiness is possible. There is no 100% health, 100% happy family, 100% perfect relationship, money, 100% of time, all the time. There is nothing like this. So the question, why not? So the Buddhism, way before, already said, well, all those things that you put as a source of happiness, they don't stay the way you want. If it's good today, it won't stay tomorrow. Is this called impermanence of the material goods? It's not there. Your family won't stay there as a family. They may travel, they may die, they may, a lot of things can happen. Health is not. Money, goes away. So the law of destruction progress is about this. In order to progress, there is destruction. So family will be destroyed, the building, some nature piece, of course, all this what we build may be destroyed in order to progress. And they ask, well, but isn't good things, material things, good to make me happy? So what's the problem? It's making me happy. And they say, but the problem is when you lose them, or the fear to lose it, to lose these wants or these goods, where you suffer. Because of the impermanence, you're not aware that that is not permanent. So when you lose, because you put a lot of dependence on that thing, you enter in these torments. Either relationship that you lose, people cannot say, well, bye-bye, I don't want you anymore. How come? I thought it was forever. You said to me in front of the judge, the priest, that it was forever. What is wrong with you, Something like that. Well, we lose, so we get really unhappy and we suffer. And then they also ask if we also are responsible to build or the cause of our moral suffering. And they say yes, because we suffer because we have too much pride. If you have pride, you can be wounded. If you have ambition, you can be disappointed because you may not get it. Anxieties of avarice, envy, jealousy, all the passions in short that constitute the torments of the soul. Who doesn't have one of those? If not all, in some degree, we have. If we are put in some situation, that we want so much that type of car and the neighbor get that model, you kind of feel, you may not say to him, you may say, how beautiful is your car, but in the inner, you say, oh, why not me? Or something, a good job or something. So where is the world of happiness indeed? You say inside of you. This is a spirit's point of view, a good spirit. But people that are killing themselves there, committing suicide, what they're thinking about? They are thinking that there is a world better than the one that they have here in this moment. So that's why they think if they kill themselves, they may find solace, a better situation than here. They may be happier, they may not suffer, etc., etc. But we all know in Spiritism, if you get all the mediumistic meeting, how many suffering spirits come to the meeting. So there is not a happy place. Either. It can be even worse because now you accumulate, you were not prepared for that world, and you cannot even sense the presence of someone that may give some relief, some happiness. You cannot see it. So for sure it's not the spiritual world, at least the one close to us, because otherwise the suffering spirit. All the books here of Allan Kardec, how many suffering spirits he interviewed? In the book of Andre Lewis, Action Reaction, how many cases of suffering? So there is not. So better stay here in this one. But the good or the important thing is that the happiness starts in this world. We have to start our journey of getting our happiness here. It has to start here. So I put this way. This is my... So I said, happiness is a process, is a way, and you have to work for. That is something culturally bad, because when we are born, someone put in our mind that I am expect to have somebody making me happy. So if it's a girl, they say, oh, my princess, my princess. They put all the beautiful things. Well, what a princess wants? All that fantasy world, and in the end, a prince with all the qualities. Well, handsome, successful, one that will understand me so well that I don't need even to say, is not going to say when I don't want him to say, But that prince, that person that I'm calling prince also is expecting to have a princess. And then am I equipped to be a princess of that guy? No, we don't have this. So the bad thing is here. We wish and we wait for facts, events to happen. Then I say, I will be happy. For instance, if I get this diploma, college, I will be happy. Then you say, well, I'm not happy. So perhaps when I get a good job, then you get a good job, you're not happy. Perhaps if I find someone that make me happy, my half. Well, when you start saying after half, it's because you have. So you are incompetent, you already have. And there is no other half that perfectly complement you, So this is wrong, or so the disappointment came very quickly, or when I am a mother, I get my child, that I'm gonna be happy. Oh, not always. There's all you guys that are parents, not me, but the parents, how difficult it is, how much disappointment, or even, if it's not disappointment, how much work you have to put. So it's wrong to think that something else has to happen in order for me to be happy. This is a complete illusion, because there is no, this person equipped so special, they can fill the void that is on me. It doesn't even understand that I have what type of void, what type of gap. How can the person fulfill this? And when can I fill the void, the gap that my pretending, the future, companion would expect me, because the man would even not be able to talk, say, I don't like. We still talk, but sometimes people have difficulties to say this. This is because it's not clear. So this is not the way. doesn't happen this way. If it is, it's so short, it's so labile, it's so, it goes away. So what they say, all the work is that, first of all, you have to have a decision. You have to make, I want to be happy. That's my way. There is no other way. I will be happy. Is a cognitive, is a rational decision. Okay. And then more you think about this, more you start to change your attitude. Your attitude. So instead of being upset in one situation, I say, oh, but I decide that I will be happy, so I'm not going to be upset that in the traffic. If someone passed flying because I was watching some soccer game, it didn't even see me, something like that, or cut my... So once you start to do more and more and more and more, this is repetition. You always, when you cut yourself, oh, let me change the gear because I decided. So the attitude become automatic, and you're gonna suddenly feel, oh, I'm happier than I was 1 month ago, because 1 month ago I would raise some hell if that thing happened, and then my gastrite, all my blood pressure will go up, etc., etc. And then once my energy of happiness is out, everybody would see. I will start to attract good things, good company, good relationship, good job, good future. And not the way before that I have to have good thing, good company, good relationship, good job, good prediction of it in order for me to feel happy. No. I have to be happy, in the happy mode, in order to attract this good thing. And then I'll be happier. So then it's going to be like a self-fed process. One will feed forward and feed backwards, and then the system becomes stronger and stronger and automatic. That's very good thing. So it's like start to smile to someone. Start to smile to everyone that you meet in the morning. You're going to see how suddenly someone is smiling to you. Say, wow, this feels good. This feels good. There's no one that will say, why are you smiling at me? I'm angry. No, nobody says that. They may pass without noticing that you smiled, but in the end, if they notice, they're going to be happy, In this book, it's called Brain Bugs, Dean Bonomano. So he says something that sometimes we have to really give a break because we have such a complex brain. Plays trick on us. You see how difficult it is to really be correct, be happy, because our brain sometimes makes those tricks. So he says, who we are as individuals and as a society is not only by the astonishing capability of the brain, but also by its flaws and limitations. Our brain has flaws and limitations sometimes we don't even notice. And then we're going to fight with my partner because the person, didn't agree with me. But actually I didn't say that. My vision was, was tricked by my brain. Human brain, the most complex device in the known universe, known to us, with full range of flaws, foibles, and bias, imagine bias, from our susceptibility to advertisement propaganda. Or we are so, influenced by this. You won't believe how much we are influenced by this. You know, we working for big industries without even noticing that we are working for them by being sick. It's how we are influenced by the advertisement. Bias of our memory and how word choice sways our decision. Sometimes we use words that, you know, people can understand something completely different. And we swear we didn't say that, or swear we did say that. And the person living with me didn't understand at all that thing. Perhaps most fascinatingly, our brain is constantly making the trade-offs between the two. The balance of fear and curiosity. Well, at the same time that I'm fearful, I have my curiosity, so I want to put my nose there. We are all this type of animal. Don't put your finger there. Oh, but my curiosity will make me put the things. We are toddler. Altruism and jealousy. So how can I work with this? Rational and irrational. We swing between this extreme. I'm rational, sometimes I'm irrational, and the other one say, oh my God, and you say, how come? I'm most rational person, I'm Virgo. But I was irrational sometimes in some circumstances, you know. So, the question, are we good in perceiving and enjoying happiness? What do you think? No, we are so defective machine. He says at least one more than the others. We have to have eyes to see, ears to hear the good things. If we want to hear good things, we filter. Learn to intensify happy moments. Who does this? Not all knows how to do that. We have to learn how to do that. It's a process. A work says that if we hold for a couple of seconds more the sensation of that moment, if it's good, a couple of seconds more, think, hold it, we will change our chemistry and build a long-term memory of that. Because the memory, long-term memory, needs time. It needs to keep running over again until it consolidates that memory. Otherwise, it goes away. So then, when we recall that event, the same sensation of happiness we can enjoy. It's unbelievable. When you have in the memory consolidated that fact, when you talk about, you feel the same joy. So we have to play a trick with our brain, because that machine, it needs to be bang, bang, bang many times with the same stimuli. So let's do that. And the bad thing, no, go away, don't think about. So now comes to something more concrete, which science in 1990s starts to have machine instruments to detect what I call pleasure, happiness. So pleasure was the first thing that they knew more clearly at that time, in part because of the addiction. There was a lot of addiction, and one thing is that we want to reinforce the pleasure that I had it when I first took some kind of drug. And unfortunately, because those are addictive drugs, I need more and more and more amount in order to have the same level of pleasure. So it's called the pleasure reward brain area. So it was easier because we had people, subjects to study. But happiness, there is a question there. If there is a difference, pleasure is equal to happiness or not? So the machine would say to you, no, Oh, yes. So, is pleasure equal to satisfaction? Is equal to happiness? What do you think? Look at that. If you are on diet, strict diet, and someone offers that wonderful dessert that you love so much, when you eat it, you feel a lot of pleasure. How about satisfaction? No, you're gonna feel upset because you broke your diet. So you were not serious in diet.
But you have that instant moment of
But that's pleasure. But the satisfaction, it comes more broad things, which is my commitment. I broke my commitment. So my guilt feelings is all there. So you may find, so let's see if the machine will say this is different. Also, is there something insatisfaction? Is there an area that would say, when I'm not satisfied or I lack satisfaction, is there something? No, they don't have it. So it's emptiness. I feel emptiness. That's why it's dangerous to not to have satisfaction, happiness. In the end, we're going to say that satisfaction is very close to happiness. Then comes the sadomasochist, masochism, which they say, I have pleasure with my suffering. How come? They have. The masochist feels that. No, it's not completely sick. No, it's not. It's not. They feel happy, they feel pleasure out of suffering. Is a truth. So the science has to see if this has a counterpart in our brain, a brain area that will illuminate when the person is saying this. Sometimes. So look at that. So the dopamine is a neurotransmitter, which is one of the first to be really studied because of many situations of addiction, etc., in the brain. So it is, we're going to talk later, is a reward center, is a reward system, motivation, pleasure, euphoria, compulsion because of the drug addiction, etc. We're going to talk later. And serotonin pathway also was very much studied because of the depression. So you have to have subject to study. Subject as humans, subject. So mood disorder, memory, etc. So there is this pathway that is well defined, and the machine, the functional MRI, is gonna lighten up when the person has this pleasure or says, I'm feeling some kind of bliss, of satisfaction, whatever. So there was a study that was done to see pleasure, happiness in the brain. So it was, 3 things were chosen. Because out of many things that people said that is the factors of happiness, people would say money. If I have money, I can buy happiness, right? People say that. Beauty is this industry is so powerful. You won't believe how much people spend, not only women, men too, in this beauty. And the question is, why we spend so much in this? And power, it doesn't, I put the politician that was just elected 1 year ago, but can be a CEO, can be when you got really high level in a company. You always see you as powerful over the people that are below you. That is the sensation. The politician thinks he can control a very large group of the country through the laws, through the, making new laws or putting a law forward. So they did this, and what they find? So they put some people in this MRI machine. They said, it's only 45 minutes. It's just, you lay there, beautiful music, like underground music, like, how to say, far away music, not that noisy one. And only to be there, they said to one group, I'll give you $10. The other group said $20. The other one $50. The other one $100. And the other group $1,000 to see if you could make a curve. They were expecting that higher the reward, I would feel more pleasure. So the machine, the brain would show much higher intensity of light when it goes higher money for that simple task there. Okay, they didn't find that. They did not find that. It was not clear at all. So they said, well, what is that? So money is not the source of pleasure like people think. Perhaps money is important because it can buy my cosmetics. I can make some plastic surgery. With money, without money, it's going to be difficult. So what I care actually is my beauty. I want to be beautiful. So they ask people that were considered beautiful by a population, like a Miss Texas or Miss, I don't know, United States, these people, that the people decide they were the most beautiful person. So the person knew that she was a beautiful person according to a big population. So they put in the machine, and that area that she was saying that it was a great pleasure, this thing of being competing was so good, people love, I love all the things, the pageant, all the things I love. But that place in the brain did not lighten up. So the question, why? Why these people that say they are declaring that they are happy, they feel pleasure, why is not lighting up her brain? Funny, isn't it? It was not different from the other one that was nothing. Think even that is not a common person. So what was when they measure some kind of hormone in the saliva, etc., they found that together with that thing that she was saying, she was happy, was a great amount of stress, of losing it, to maintain the beauty, to lose the beauty. And that was counteracting the pleasure. So the stress, the fear of losing, and how much she had to go to diet, not eat this, not eat that, in order to maintain that. And the competition also was a source of stress. Or next step, I have to compete if I miss some kind of state in the United States. I have to go with the whole nation, the whole universe. So they said, well, perhaps also beauty is a way I use. The society was built that beautiful people, well-fit person, will have more chance for power, to fame. You know, people say if I know how to be a good soccer player, I may get power. So the politicians, the CEO, they all think all this asset may be in the end for power. So they got some powerful guys, CEO people, some politicians, some people, put in the machine. Also the same, nothing. Because they had also stress, counteracting that apparent happiness that they were saying. They were happy. Trump said, I'm happy that I won the election. But you know, he wasn't the one put in the machine, but he would say, how stressful it would be now to maintain this, to be liked. So the cause of that is stress and suffering. So suffering seems to counteract my happiness or pleasure. It's something that won't be. So if money, beauty, and power is not so much, what actually is the strongest stimuli or stimulus for my happiness? What is it? What do you think is?
Self-realization.
Self-realization? That's wonderful. Exactly that. Number one, learning. Learning. You can see that boy, how happy he is to be accomplished, to learn how to balance on that skate, or to learn how to bike, or how to tie the knot in his tennis shoes. Yeah, I did it. And the Simpsons said, we did it too, you know. So learning, but that doesn't need to be when we are young. We, in our age, we have to force ourselves to learn. That is our problem. We say, well, this is for young. No, we have to put ourselves to learn things. Because when we accomplish that, that is the strongest source of happiness. So if you say to yourself, no, I won't be able to do that. I am not capable of that. No, it's not anymore for me. This, you're cutting off the strongest source of happiness right there. Right there. Imagine saying this to a kid. You're dumb. You can't. No. So you're cutting the future of this kid of being happy. So never say I can't. The second one was overcoming limits. That everybody knows. How happy those winners, that little goldfish, when he finally was able to jump to the other pot. All the Olympics winners, how happy they were. Those moments is where the brain would be a Christmas tree, all lighting up. Accomplishment is to overcome limits. Oh, yesterday I could not do that, but today I did it. You know, or if I try today, I will get this in 1 month. You know, it's like running. You say, no, I can't. No, you can, you know. But the third one was a puzzle. The third big stimulus for happiness was pain and suffering. Can you believe this? Pain and suffering. And in that book, the brain bugs say we have a short circuit in our brain that is called guilt and reward circuit. And we feel guilt, so we enjoy the suffering in order to have the reward and the pleasure.
No pain, no gain.
Yeah. So, and you think we don't do that? We are so excited when they say breaking news. Breaking news is good. Now, 99% of the situation is tragedy, is bad thing. We are all crazy to listen to that. When someone comes to talk about the last heartbreaking situation, we are all hearing. You know, and also we say, but you don't know my case. Mine is worse. You don't know what mine did to me. Yours is nothing. So we want to increase much more our suffering. We have pleasure to say, oh, but my surgery. No, my surgery took 5 hours. Yours, 3.5. No, mine. You won't believe how long I stay in pain, whatever. We have pleasure to say those things, our suffering. So it doesn't make sense much that suffering would be a natural thing for people to seek for. Because human beings, I would say, would try to, because suffering is bad for the body, we shouldn't go after, because it's bad for, it causes some cortisol increase this stress hormone. Why people keep doing this thing that doesn't make sense? So what do you think? Why we keep saying our life is a misery? Our this, why we keep doing this?
Because those that complain are the victims.
Because you think you have a reward. We have a reward. So, but in order to let the thing happen, your rational part, which is this part, the prefrontal frontal lobe, it has to be shut down. There are people that likes to be beaten up. They're beaten up by a companion. They go there. They make all the, protection, and they give the protection. They get rid of that boyfriend. They get the same one, the same other one, but with the same tendency. Again, they go to the police again. You cannot say the person likes. All men are like that. Or that she likes to be beaten up, likes to be abused, or that she is unlucky. You cannot think that. No. If you put 50, 100 men or companions, let's say just, the person will choose exactly that type. So why this attraction? So, if the person doesn't like that, if this is a suffering, why keep doing? Because the rational part is not, it has to shut down. Because if you use your rationality, your reasoning, you cannot allow yourself to do the 10th time, the same thing. You do the first, the second perhaps, but not more. So it has to be, so the remedy for that is to reason, to start to reason, start to boost your reasoning. Go to therapy in order to boost that rational part, that then that rational part would say, wait a minute, that thing is wrong. And you start not to go after the same thing. You start to break that circuit. You have to break the circuit of guilt and reward by a reasoning. That's the only way. So rational person from the beginning, this incarnation won't go even the first one, because he was beaten up in the other incarnation, learn. So that is called emotional intelligence. We have to know ourselves in order to develop, not the cognitive intelligence, but the emotional, how to deal with this our emotion. The only way is to know myself. People outside cannot convince you. You have to decide to know yourself. What is making me fall in the same hole? At least if it's a different hole. You say, well, I'm creative, but sometimes it's the same. So emotional intelligence is a big thing, but we have to do. So then I decided to talk a little bit about the neurochemicals behind all this. Very few that we know a little bit more, but there's hundreds of those, but I chose ones that we know more because we have more subjects to work. So it's the system called, driven by this amino acid or transmitter called dopamine. This is called motivation molecule. So every time this dopamine is raised, it gives me motivation to do it, motivation to live. So imagine if you don't have that, you know. So it's a boost, it boosts our drive. It boosts our focus. I need to conquer that thing. So I need that system to be lighten up. It gives thrills when goals in the business, sports, love are accomplished. If I don't have that system in a physiological level, not in the addiction level, I will die earlier. It gives some mental disease. It's very difficult to keep life if I don't have this reward, this pleasure area working. I don't see motivation. Imagine I don't have motivation for nothing. Imagine when I have low level. The other one is serotonin. Is called the confidence molecule. It maintains our mood balance. Our mood balance. You know, we are in the middle. Nothing put me too much in this way, nothing too much in that other extreme. Its deficit leads to depression. It's not the only one, but is involved. It has a lot of other things. It is triggered by confidence. So more I exercise, I have to exercise confidence in order to boost. Because those pots of chemicals is not stagnate. I can change the volume, the amount, by my attitude. So confidence, so try to find something that you will feel confident and go. It contributes to satisfaction and happiness, not pleasure. Satisfaction and happiness. Then has this group is a endogenous morphine type of a drug, of a neurotransmitter. So our body produces a morphine opioid type of drug. We all have this pharmacy inside of us. So it's our painkiller. There's so many people that can control pain by boosting these endorphins, which is so laugh, exercise, chocolate. Oh, that's all boosts our level of endorphin. That's why we feel good. No pain, we feel relaxed, we feel in peace, in heaven. Causes some euphoria, modulation of appetite, release sex hormone, and enhance immune response. So it's good to maintain that level of balance in my life. So health, because immune system is the base of my health. Many imbalance comes from imbalance of the immune system. Oxytocin is called the love and bliss hormone. It became very popular in the last 20 years, 30 years. It nurtures intimacy and bonding. This is the mothers, when they have the babies, they feel that during the late pregnancy. It's the hug hormone. So let's hug. Cuddle, chemical, moral molecule. Moral. Has a role in love and reproduction. We all know now that, the mother said, it gives relaxation, trust, and psychological ability. So oxytocin is very good for relationship. I need that to have a rewarding relationship. Is that the little baby has with the mother? Trustful relationship. How to manage our chemistry? Of course, that center, dopamine system, mindfulness, exercise, relaxation, meditation, yoga, painting, all this activity will really boost this dopamine pleasant state of mind. Of course, lower levels would be behind some disorders. It is very difficult when certain people had some, they had that area destroyed either by some kind of stroke, some kind of surgery that they had to go through, and the life becomes very difficult because there is no motivation, no pleasure in life. It's very difficult. The serotonin, how to boost this bliss of happiness. Positive thoughts and image. See image that you feel happy. Look at the image of your kids when they were young. How much pleasure comes. Don't you see that? Nowadays, they're saying that, unfortunately, we all have a digital photos, and it's more difficult to, let me bring the album for us to go through. It's not easy anymore. But in old time, when you were going through the old album or photograph, how much joy you felt. Oh, look at that, how cute, whatever. Oh, I was so young or something, you know. Happy memories. Try to talk or even write about happy memories. Write, talk. This is going to boost your level of happiness. Of course, low levels also is behind some disorders. So if you feel you have to do more of those exercises. The endorphin, let's talk about this social pain molecule. Rejection is painful. That people didn't know, they would say, but it's proof. When you give some kind of a painkiller, they feel better, even with Tylenol. They feel better. So the pain of rejection, pain, it hurts. It's true, it hurts, rejection, because and then endorphin will make you better. So it's increased as a protective mechanism. Sometimes they find that when you start to feel social rejection, as an adaptation, you start to try to save yourself with increasing your own endorphins. You know. And also is increasing people that are resilient, those that cope better with the rejection, with the other social problem. They go better because they have higher level of this. And also is increased when you are socially accepted and validated. When you are socially accepted, if that feels good, you know, your endorphin is high. But then they will have the counterpart, as I say, stress chemicals that will counteract all these good chemicals that make me happy. So it's cortisol and adrenaline. Has their own role, of course, for me to fight and fly. I need that. But sometimes it stays in the middle of my problems because when I have some kind of resentment, anger, I have high cortisol, high stress. That will wiped out all these good things. They dilute the happy chemicals. It becomes more difficult to feel love. Nobody loves me. Difficult to feel pleasure, kindness, gratitude. Everything gets bad, difficult when I am in a state of resentment and anger. They cause physical imbalance. How many people has a heart attack, cardiac problem, gastric problem, and all cancer, immunosystem problem, and have cancer? So we cannot enter in this business of increasing the level of stress, and not only that, not to have the benefit of the others, other good molecules. This is bad. So, isn't life difficult to balance? Look at that. It is not easy to balance that. We are living in a very, how to say, unstable situation with many factors coming to my life. Look at that. I have my physical part. I have my spiritual, of course, which already is not easy to deal with, those two. It's mine, but it's difficult because it depends on my baggage, what I'm bringing, what is my condition that I was born with, etc. Social, oh my God, now it doesn't depend only on me, it depends on all the people that are around me. To put their little finger, little weight in one of the side. Financial, oh my God, little thing the financial that balance would go one side or the other. Community that we trust so much now, suddenly no. Family, we all said, family sometimes imbalance ourselves. Mental, if something happens. Professional. Oh, I thought I was good for that. But no, I think I was not supposed to go to that profession. Something like that. And in all these areas, we built our voluntary torments. Voluntary, we could get rid of, but we decide to bring. In all these areas, hatred, jealousy, envy, ambition, pride, selfishness, some imaginary needs. Say, why? Why you need that? Imaginary. I decide that I need that to be happy, that I deserve that, to have it. Imagine. So it's a voluntary torment because we could decide not to hate, not to be jealous, not to be envy, not to be ambitious to the point to be sick. Decrease my pride, which is not easy, but decrease my pride so I don't feel hurt. Because if I have pride, I will be hurt. It's easy to be hurt because the person doesn't think I am that good that I think I'm good. How come the person doesn't see me as a wonderful person, the most capable person, the most? Why? So our pride, selfishness, etc. In all this area, family, social, financial, professional, everything, that thing will affect. So Chico said, which is very interesting, I like this phrase, I learned to make my days simpler, lighter. I learned, so it's a process. He didn't know all. That means in all these decades of life, he learned. Either because he, during this interaction with people, or Emmanuel banging his shoulder, say, pay attention, you're not right. So he learned to make my days simpler and lighter. I start to believe that to be happy is to, I don't know if this word exists, to uncomplicate. not complicate, decomplicate life from inside. You cannot wait for outside to make you. So, to be light, we know what is to be heavy. Oh, that person is heavy. It brings very low energy to me. So usually has bad mood, is stressed, afflicted, pessimist, depressed, possessive, demanding, dark, rancor. All come to you and you are affected by this. So it's the opposite of that. And Andre Luiz, this physician that took care of him, Enrique de Luna, said to him, you know what killed you? Dark and aggressive temper, heavy bad humor, mood, and you were too demanding. You want everything for you. That's what killed you. To be simple. So is to rely in small things to be happy. Don't wait for this Hollywoodian type of big event to happen in your life in order for you to be happy. No, small things. What do you think about small things that can make you happy today? Good weather. We can go to, enjoy the life outside. Or my kid is in good health. They enjoy life. This is a big thing for a small thing that you even don't count. If someone says, well, today you look good. It's nothing for the person to say, but it's good. Didn't you feel good? It feels good. So the husband will say to the wife and vice versa, how beautiful you are today, and tomorrow you'll be complimented because it's Father's Day, but doesn't need to wait. Doesn't need to wait for that special day. So small things, he says, that impacts our hormone level. Cortisol, all those immunoglobulin, the protection, all this level will be affected by little short boosts that you give. Many small things, not a big thing. Oh, I win the lottery. That may be a lot of stress because you're going to fear that you're going to lose, that someone will going to kidnap your kid, that you need now a shielded car, a shielded everything in order to. So, a small thing. And the manual says we have to learn to enjoy in creating, and celebrate small happy moments. Create. Use your creativity and make some event that will be happy. And celebrate. You have to learn how to celebrate. There are people that don't know how to celebrate. No, I'm okay. When they say I'm okay, I say, this is not good. A little thing we're going to put you down. But if you start way up, I'm wonderful, you may come to okay level. So better start very high. To uncomplicate, we ask, are you complicated or not or uncomplicate person? How we are? We sometimes complicate situations that we're not supposed to. Let it go. What's the problem? So they say, ask someone close to you if you are a complicated person or not. Any little thing, you go there, why didn't you do this? Why that thing wasn't, why didn't you clean this? Why you did this first and not, little things. So, life is made by instance and depends on how we pass. Now, in the time of soccer, the dribble, how this soccer player, the good ones, goes around the blocker, the blockade. We have to do this in life too. Learn how to go. Don't bump. You cannot bump. You're going to fall. Those big defense players, no, forget it. Learn to be happy. Have the attitude to be happy in moments of adversities. Don't put more load in the situation that is already bad. No, try to have an opposite effect. It could be worse. It will be better tomorrow, etc. So I thought that this paper had some interesting, I'll finish with this, tips that we may, it was a little different from the others, so there's a lot of material. Love yourself for who you are. Don't try to compare with others. You have your own baggage coming from many past lives. You cannot compare to others. My job is not to be a CEO, to be a big basketball player. I'm not. I came for a specific reason for this. So I have to start to love myself, what I am, who I am. Don't see relationships as base of your experience. Don't wait for others to fill the gap. They are imperfect people. They are unable to do that. They don't have the capability to make anyone happy. It's me. I have to be equipped with capacity to be happy, and then I can absorb what the other happy people can give to me. Never spend time playing victim. This is a waste of time. It's a complete waste of energy. You spend so much energy in that and you get sick. Why playing victim? To call someone attention? The person cannot give what you don't want, they cannot give. There is no way. There is no way. Get out and do something. Look for solutions. Solutions. Overcome limitation. Oh, yeah, there's a blockade here. Let me see if I can do things that I never tried. Let me see. Let's try. Don't let money, power dictate your life. So we all know that they can fade away. So if you step on people while you were going up, when you're going down, those same people will be there. Learn to celebrate the other's success. Don't be envy. Don't be envy. It's difficult. I know it's difficult to celebrate. I can be indifferent, but celebrate sometimes it's difficult. But, it's good for my health. Embrace change. That is the learning. Change is learning. New path, new task, new things is that. Live the present, not the past. Don't look at the mirror. I say always, don't look too much in the mirror, lateral mirror, the back mirror. When you're driving, you're gonna have an accident. You have to be present while you're driving. And not too much on the future, because this is too much of anxiety. You cannot control the future. You can plan, be best prepared, but not control. You have to prepare yourself, but not control. Because not in the details that you want things to happen. It won't happen. If it's not to happen, it won't happen. It may happen in 1 month, in 1 year, but not now, if it's not to happen. But you have to be prepared, because if it happens, I'm there, Study. Trust that everything happens for a reason. That for Spiritists, you don't need to say, right? We all accept this. That happens for some reason. More than any other person, the Spiritists know that. We're bringing some tasks to test here. Know yourself. That is key. You have to know yourself in order to know how to boost my emotional intelligence and not to fall in some kind of trap. I think I forgot something in the middle, but anyway, that's it. Thank you. So, if you have questions. Yeah,
Essa é a sua advocate.
I know I forgot some piece, so if nobody has the attention. Yeah, ask Paula.
We have to ask because Yasco won't be able to ask herself questions tonight. So
I may
please.
still try.
Well, first of all, I'm a lot happier than when you started. So I like concentrating on all the things that make you happy. Thank
Yeah.
you. I was wondering when you were looking at research if you crossed anything with technology and teenagers. Because teenagers are at that vulnerable stage of identity. And when they're spending a fair amount of time learning about themselves via all those technological peer groups they're in, so much is like rated, likes, not like, give a couple stars. So I thought I was reading somewhere that teens were more vulnerable now to unhappiness because of the social media.
Yeah, in my view, I don't know if they have really research done in like a group of teenagers to put in the MRI, to do some tasks, I know when they are put in front of, this is visual, okay? Sound to a very active movies, which they like. No games, fighting, winning, conquering, defeating. They like, but the level of their unhappiness and the saliva when they measure these hormones or the immunoglobulin that is the base for our health is low down in one movie. While if they see some movie that is more of peace, peace with nature, peace engaging with others, that level of immunoglobulin boosts. So the level probably, if they put in a scan, they would have that part lightened. I know one interesting work they did in small, I don't know, 8, 10 years old, about empathy, the difference between empathy, goodness, just like empathy and goodness. So they ask who you like most in your life. They usually 80% my mother. So when they think about this, so they say, think about who is she and why and whatever. So they start to, because the brain needs to repeat that in order to lighten up that area. So finally they know this area lightens. So is when they like, the love. But then they say, you know your mother? She is not feeling well. Your mother is feeling kind of stomach ache or something. And to see how empathetic the kid is. Oh yeah, this level of chemical increases much more because that person that is the target of their love now is suffering. So he wants to relieve the pain. And that empathy, it has a much stronger impulse. And they say something to some kind of task in order to spread that goodness to other people that you don't know. So it's an exercise. First with the person that he loves, and then he's going to open up more and more. And that is where really all these good chemicals increase a lot. If they measure even, I don't know how they allowed to get some blood samples of these kids. So I think they will do. It's difficult to get those subjects to be part of the, the thing. But I was even talking today that now that people don't look much to the facial expression because they're more here. They answer to you, looking down. They're walking, not looking at the person. They say hi. They don't look at you. They don't.
Eye contact.
Facial expression. And human beings was the beings that develop most and connect with emotion, the facial expression. And now we're losing that. What is going to happen in the future if you lose this capability? Because through the facial expression, I know you're suffering. So I know I have to go there and, hug you. But if I don't understand if you're suffering. So there is all this. There's of course, some disease, some disorders that the person cannot recognize facial expression, cannot recognize pain in others. Cannot. But there is autism or whatever other situation. So I imagine that we'll have, especially, because there is a lot of changes in this society, level of, suicide, bullying, whatever, how the person, but I think it's not easy to do. Yeah.
Anyone else? I have a comment, just a comment from the web that we received that I would like to share with everyone. If I can just pull it up, give me 1 second. And Renato Jose says the following. I think the happiness goes in direction of the nothingness. Nothing material to desire, nothing of ego power. Peace of the conscience. Just a comment.
We are in this world and we have to interact. And through interaction, we have to learn. So it's very difficult to be in the middle of this and to go to nothingness. Is very difficult. I think when you go to higher level of beings, I may be able to sublimate all these things that is coming over me and feel like the monks sometimes they feel. They can isolate themselves. Oh, after retreat, we feel better, coping better with this. But in everyday business, I think is a go and back and forth business until we learn, master.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I completely agree with what you said about being here in this physical world and not interact. I think this is a comment. I think that as we grow spiritually and progress as humanity, what's going to happen is we're going to continue to interact with the material world, but we're going to change our focus. The meaning of having material things will change. So I think right now we are focused on the material thing as the source of happiness. But when we change our focus or the way we interact with matter as a companion for us to building things that is not only be for the happiness for our happiness, but the happiness of humanity, of others, then I think we're gonna be in the right direction.
Yeah, but you see, when we say material, we include people around me. It's still that person that's coming with that body is a material for me. If he disappear, die, I will suffer. I won't understand quite quickly that spirit is in another place. So we in this growth coarse way of trying to evolve, to boost our spirituality, our being, that is, I think, takes more time.
I would like to ask a question.
Yes.
Actually, it's a two-part question. Two things that caught my attention was, number one, the comments that you brought about extending happiness, right? We'll give you a quick example, personal example. Recently, I was at a gathering. I was very hungry. There was great food. And that happiness that the food was going to provide, obviously satiating my hunger, I extended a little bit and ate a little bit too much. I'm just giving this example because sometimes we have great things in life and we extend it in a negative way. So what was great, what was good, what was great, it became too much, right? And we spoil it.
So your satisfaction level went down
afterwards, exactly.
Although the pleasure was there.
So I connect a whole lot with that because we find ourselves in our society doing a lot of that. I gave you the example of food because it's a very mundane, it's very easy for us to relate to. So what the question related to that is, what can we do to not let ourselves fall in that pit? The second comment that I would like to make is more towards the learning process in today's society, and dealing with different individuals, working with people directly. We see that we have this need to turn around and engage people in this idea of learning, and through learning, we know that there are a lot of hard work, dedication. And most of the time, it doesn't come easy, right? You have to put a lot of dedication to. So what can we do? What do you think we can do in your studies that we can help people, especially young individuals, to get the satisfaction with learning, but also learn how to cope with the hard work? So question one, not let us fall into the pit of the extending the happiness. And the second one, what can we do to help other people to get the benefits of learning?
I think the first question that you say, for me to stop before, in order for me to have both pleasure and satisfaction, because I fulfill my duty with my diet that I committed with, but I have also pleasure. But the only way for you to go through is knowing yourself. Next time, because you had this experience, if you have memory of how much painful was when you thought you exaggerate, you broke your diet or your health plan, you're going to stop before. But you have to know yourself. If you are more driven by pleasure or by commitment, that will give more satisfaction to you, happiness, satisfaction. The second was about learning. Unfortunately, we start to put in our child mind, learn is painful, learn is a hard work, to go to school is very difficult. Oh yes, there is a holiday, whatever, and we all even invented, exaggerate some sickness, fever. Be happy when we have fever because we didn't need to go to school. So that is built in our mind, that learning is bad, difficult stuff. Part it is in part because the school did not follow how much this generation changed. They focus in different things, so the system is a little slow to catch up. So we have to change that part too. But once we are adult and we know the benefit of learning, we have to develop that emotional intelligence and try to say, look, that thing that I thought was okay when I was a child, to have this emotional thing and give this excuse, is not good anymore. I have to be, use my rational part and control my emotions. And hard learning, hard work to learn is equal to these Olympians do. How much they suffer, how much discipline they have. Is that easy for them to wake up at 5 o'clock every day to go to swim? It's not. But they have a commitment, and they know in the end is fulfilling. That was worthwhile. It's the same as the mothers that have this kid. You know, we will think, how come this mother could have 5, 6 kids? Or even second kid, when the thing was so painful in the first time. But the result was so fulfilling. The satisfaction to have that baby was so overwhelming that she forgets and goes, the memory goes down and get again. So I think the hard work to learn, harder it is, more happier you will feel when you accomplish. Put the law, no, I can, if I accomplish 10%, I will be in the first, whatever, month, 20% in 6 months, whatever. Don't put too high. I will be happy because this is my rate. Because I have to work also, I have to come to the center, help here, etc. I have house to, you know, all these things. So don't put too high and too quick, too short time to accomplish, because then you fail. When you fail, the pain is bigger because you failed. So you don't, it's double because you don't try anymore because, oh, I'm a failure. No, I'm not good to learn. That's bad. So you give up on happiness. You don't go, you give up in the middle of the hiking business, you know, I think.
Thank you so
You
much.
felt
Yes.
so well when you got the hat and went to graduation, right?
Thank you so much. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And this is really good for all of us because sometimes we don't even know that we're looking for happiness, right? And we dive into the third part that you brought about the study of really not going the right way. We're looking for negative things to talk about it to fulfill ourselves. So any other questions, any other comments? So we can conclude tonight. Thank you so much, Yasco, again. Thank you.
Thank you.